Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back.
Woo!
Backwoods Bulletin.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
I'm here with Brandy,
Hello.
here with Joel,
Woo!
and Sean. All right, and
Sorry
we
about
are
our
here
controls.
to entertain.
Oh, what
That's right.
the?
Oh my!
Oh
hey,
my
hey,
God.
hey,
Hey, that's
controls.
cool. What is that?
See
Hey,
y'all in
Tom.
a
I don't know
minute.
what happened there. That's
Repeat.
uh,
That looks like Facebook.
yeah. Well, that's not working the way I hoped it would.
We tried to put the comments on there for y'all, but it looks a little bit confusing.
It's up
We're
close
gonna,
to personal.
we're gonna put Jim on for a second.
Oh, there we go. Double here.
Oh my gosh, look
Here.
at all those comments.
Yeah, we're getting them.
We are listening
Hey.
to the citizens.
Joel's going into the production room to fix
All right.
this. So
That,
Jim, you get to
Our-
talk for a
that
minute.
bra.
Our
That bra
co-star,
girl.
Joel is now in the production booth.
Yep.
All right.
Here, we'll go
Don't
there.
know what. There we
See,
go.
Joel's
know
in the
what-
production booth for a second, but Sean's still here.
I'm left alone.
He's all by himself.
A poor latchkey.
Aww. Hi, Sapot. Okay, back to Jim.
Good.
So Joel can come
Hello.
in here
We are
secretly.
here present.
Okay, our comments are off the picture.
Oh,
Yay! That's
they're not on the side here.
no.
Oh, we're
It's
back to
better.
normal.
It's better that they're gone than covering up all our faces, right?
Figure it out later.
Oh,
Oh, there you
don't
go, Brandy.
put it on
Back to
me.
you.
Hey, what's up?
It's like I never left.
All right.
Although
Yeah,
I
that's
did
it.
show your empty chair.
I know,
so
you cheated.
sorry.
See, he even brought his spot with him.
And,
Oh
his, and his coat
That's
I
his
can't even
best
see
spot.
that from this angle. Holy cow.
is below his beard.
Anyways, hey guys, hey, welcome to Backwoods Bulletin. We've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to talk about HB 2002, which is all about it's an absolutely horrible bill.
Worst thing that ever happened.
Hide your kids, hide your dog, hide your woman.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Yep,
They're
and
coming
then
for everybody.
we're going to talk about another bill that kind of coincides with that called Senate Joint Resolution 33, and what that actually means. And that's going to be coming to a vote of the people down the road, assuming that it passes through the Senate. I think it's probably going to
Almost
pass.
there.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk about the Republican House walkout and what that means, and then what 113 is and how it affects them and everything, and why the walkout is more than just a big thing and what it really means.
Way
They're
more.
risking their entire careers.
Yeah, they're risking their entire careers. And then for campfire discussions, we got some good stuff. Brandy's got a story that's gonna.
I've got 3 stories.
Yeah,
that are
don't let
gonna
the kids hear
blow
that
your
one.
minds.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to my turn, please don't let the kids be listening. It's
Yeah.
serious.
And then
stuff.
for Ranger games, we got something special.
We got some base name changes
yeah, what the
in the
hell?
U.S. Army. We have some
Fort Hood is no more.
What?
Yeah.
some chaplains in the Navy taking some frontline roles in surface fleet, mental health, and of course, I think my favorite one I didn't get down here, Coast Guard ship seizing many drugs.
Yeah. woo,
Ooh.
woo.
There's a plus factor, huh?
There we go.
Yeah. So Sean, what is HB 2002?
Like you're going to ask me what the
Yeah.
whole bill is?
Well, what's it mean to you?
But it means everything and nothing at all. It's a crap.
It is crap.
Yeah. So the summary of HB 2, the key things, it's like 45 pages, and I'm
See,
not gonna
and
read.
he
it to
reads the 45 pages. I just get the top.
you. Sure. Yeah, I read the whole thing.
But declaring an emergency,
Wow.
really?
Yeah, that's the
Seriously?
very last line in the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the one that gets it.
Unreal.
That's what
So-
locks it in.
HB 2002. If you haven't heard about it yet, it's about they say around reproductive rights and gender equality. Or, anyways, short story. It allows a child, and this is per the government lawyers that during the committee hearings interpreted this part, and we have video of that, which again I didn't get hooked up tonight.
Aw.
Hey, we're slowly moving forward. I see how bad I did on the comments. It's like I haven't done this for like 2 years now. I think I'd get it done.
The camera makes me look huge. Okay, go
That's
ahead.
how I
It,
feel
well,
too.
it's for every camera on you, and you got like 6 on you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the bills is for a child of any
It's
age.
shit.
Yes, it's shit. A child of any age
Any age.
can go out and get an abortion without ever involving the parents. But there's something worse on that. A child, I have like a rack or something.
See,
Hey, like lose your shirt.
I feel like we should be doing bra commercials.
I know. Look at that.
Needless to say, this bill is bad.
Yes,
And protect your children.
yeah.
You know?
Well, it gets worse though because do you know how the popular thing to do, or I'm sorry, it's the new thing to do, and it's flying out is the whole gender transition.
Yeah.
This bill allows a child of any age to get gender reassignment therapy all the way up through gender surgery with top or bottom
without parental
without
consent.
ever involving parental involvement, and the parents are financially responsible for that as well.
Oh, and if the parents say no,
Yeah.
they can be visited by DHS and their kids could be taken away.
Yeah. Oh, it gets worse. That's a good part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The bad part, well, I guess that's not that good part. There's nothing good about that. But I'm saying they can do that, and there's a new rule that they can charge you with. It's called interfering with a healthcare provider, and it's 364 days in jail. It's a misdemeanor on your record, and it's a $6,500 fine.
Let's not forget that
I'd
this
hate to be the
opens the
person who
door.
has to enforce that law.
Right?
You know, because I can honestly tell
Force with
you,
the PAC team.
if your kids are on the line and your choice is to let them get a sexual change, or you're protecting their rights as a child, I can guarantee you the rights of the child's going to win.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna go to jail, right?
Well,
We're
don't
all going to
forget-
jail. So I hope they got plenty of room.
Yeah.
According to what I understand, we don't have enough jail space, right? And we're going to put all
Oh,
the Americans who
sure.
stand up for their children in jail.
It's
Right.
apparently, yeah, that's what the
Well,
idea
think
is.
about it this way too. It opens the door for our lovely new category maps, which is pedophiles. That just you're not allowed to call them pedophiles anymore.
Oh, they're pedophiles.
Yeah, that's
It's ridiculous. And
Absolutely
and
sick and
you
disgusting.
know what? They have a flag now. They have a flag now where
oh,
it
you
has
told me
like
about that. That's horrible.
pink,
Ugh.
baby pink for their love of little girls, blue for their love of little boys, yellow for something innocence, and white for purity. And it's just like they have a flag.
Yeesh.
It's just mind.
There's another flag that goes up with that, with skull and crossbones. I've seen it many times. And they might want to address that because that's the flag they're going to be holding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
You know,
I mean-
honestly, there is a special place reserved in hell for them.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's politically correct or not. Those guys deserve to be in jail,
Absolutely.
flat out.
Absolutely.
I don't understand the part about, the doctors.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a physician,
do no harm.
and he would be standing on his head. Well, a pharmacist is authorized to provide abortion pills without regard to the age of the person. That's not protecting children.
No. It's
Well,
not.
exactly. That's the thing is,
You
that
want to get it?
You know, and-
it's a
go
money.
ahead.
It's money. It's
Yeah.
a multi-billion-dollar industry.
It's
And I don't
money.
think we've heard from the doctors. Have we heard from the doctors how
No.
they feel about doing this procedure?
No, I don't
Have we
think
heard
so.
the doctors come out and say, you know what? I'm going to mangle your child and I'm
Well,
good with that.
Here's the thing, too, is so the doctors aren't allowed to say no. Do you know that that's been taken away from them?
Well, but they
They
didn't
have
ask
to
them how they
perform surgery.
felt. They asked them what they couldn't say no
But
to.
they-
Okay,
they
that's
all
great,
took an
fine.
oath, though.
Yeah, they can still say how they feel. Let's put them on
I
the
would
line.
love to
Let's get
see-
those healthcare
Yeah.
workers up there and say, how do you feel about taking a child's life and changing it forever?
Well, like,
you know,
have you seen when Jazz Jennings is a very popular transgender? He was born a boy, and Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens recently spoke out about his mental health and how his mom is an abuser, and Jazz got on and was like, "No, I'm perfectly content with who I am." But the long story short, the mom was talking about going in and putting something in his carved up created area, female part, to keep it dilated. And she was talking about how her teenage son wasn't masturbating enough to keep it open, so she was going to go into his room and shove something in it to keep it dilated.
Saw the video. That's on video, by the
It's
way.
on video.
That's like
Yeah,
scary.
I literally
Like-
saw that on video.
Wow.
It's
Ah.
insane. It's insane. And the doctor that did the surgery was constantly talking about, man, we didn't expect these complications, and he's had so many complications, and they're creating these permanent patients.
Well, exactly. That's the thing is it's a big business thing. It's nothing more than that. What really comes down to it's about money and a business thing. You're creating permanent patients. And there might
Yeah.
be a small portion of people think we're really helping them. But the thing is, if they really thought that, where's the science and the data to back it up? Because they don't have it.
Well, now
doesn't
science is
exist.
coming out showing the negative side effects of, because they keep saying like pausing puberty or pausing your that whatever that word is, pausing your
Puberty.
puberty. They keep saying that doing that, like the ones that are pro it are saying that it's not anything permanent, but it's coming out now that there's lots of permanent actions, and they're making these kids like infertile and not able to reproduce, and I do think part of the goal here is to stop reproducing. I do think that's part of the goal.
I'd be worried about a scary movie. When I was growing up, there was a movie called End of Days, and it was a biblical thing. You know, it says
Good
what's
movie,
gonna.
Is that the one with like
Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
yeah.
It talks about end of days, you know, and
Yep.
what's coming and what we're going to have to deal with. I think this would be classified in my book as end of days.
Yeah.
The worst scenario we could possibly imagine are innocent children facing something that they can't defend themselves
Yeah.
through, and we, as their parents, are trying to defend them, and we've been chained and not allowed to defend them,
Yeah.
and our country has turned their back. Where
Yeah.
does it end? You know, I ask you that.
Scary.
Exactly. Well, you know, there are some people that are fighting back. The representatives we put in place, Republican representatives, which, by the way, just to point out on this bill, it has passed through the House
Yeah.
with 100% Democratic support.
Yep.
And it's 0% for it from the Republicans. The Republicans opposed it 100%.
But there's such a majority that the Democrats
Exactly.
just push
So
it
they
right
pushed.
on through.
They rammed it through the House. It was in the Senate. They did the first reading on the Senate like right after it passed the House. It was extremely
That
fast.
was in February.
It was
Yeah.
rapidly.
They started that.
Yeah. Well, they read it at the beginning of earlier this month when they read it in the
Oh.
House for the first time, and they had just passed like
In
the
the
day
Senate.
before. Like the day before they had passed it in the House. The next day they read it in the Senate. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I usually it gets pushed to the bottom of the pile, but they loaded it to the top, and this is such a bad bill, that the Senate, the only thing the Republicans could do to defend against it being rammed through, because they were ready to push it through second and third reading,
Yeah.
within the next 2 days after that, 3 days you would pass it to the Senate. So the only thing they could do is walk out, not show up, so there wasn't enough of a quorum to pass it through. However, there was a bill passed recently, not bill, it was back in the last general election, 113,
Right.
which states that any elected official on the House or the Senate state elected official that misses 10 or has 10 or more unexcused absences is
Cannot run
barred
again.
from running on the next election. So they went all the way up till they had the majority, almost all of the Republicans had nine unexcused absences. Finally, the Senate president sat down with the minority leader, and they worked out a 3-day pause where they would not hold the Senate for it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The next one happened today, and I believe 3 of those senators did not show.
Brian, Dan, and Dennis.
So
Yeah. And they're literally putting their careers. on
yeah,
the
like
line for kids.
because if today came in as an unexcused absence again, that would put those 3 as barred from running again. But that means if the other one showed up today, that probably means that this. I haven't been able to check the final outcome today because it was still going earlier. If it passes, I'll know later on tonight. if
I
it
got
passed.
some comments to read if you guys are interested.
Yeah, let's go with the comments.
So I'm gonna try to go through them. Oh, Sarah said that when you guys were teasing about your looks, they said you guys, God made you all perfect. I think you look amazing. And Dorinda said about Fort Hood, she went through what used to be Fort Hood not too long ago. And then Sarah said, who pays for it? And then you had answered that because you said the parents still have to pay for it even if they don't know.
Yeah.
And then you've got Sarah said, yeah, it's considered a fetish now to like kids, which is just so gross. Spot said, dare to go after kids. I don't care what the repercussions are. Sarah said, it's like China. They want full control. Tony also agreed that they're creating permanent patients. They're affirming psychosis. The consequences are killing kids via suicide. We are living in end of days with the Democrats' delusional agendas and a horror movie. And then Sarah said, bring Trump back. He vowed to stop this crazy shit.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
to jump back on that with those three who walked out and their careers are on the line.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do in your political career. At the end of each day,
Mhm.
your political career should be that cross to bear.
Mhm.
You do it because you do it for the people.
Definitely.
Those three walking out prove to me that they're the kind of politician I want. They're willing to die on the cross for your children. So ask yourself, who would you reelect?
Right?
Exactly.
Seriously.
You know?
Exactly.
And that should be what we're talking about here. Those three made up their mind to risk their careers, to walk away to save your children.
Good for
I think
them.
each and every one of us
They
do
didn't
the
want to be a
same
part of
thing.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the more people that
good for
do it,
them.
I mean, they can't fire everybody.
No,
they
they
can't.
can't. It's ridiculous to
No,
think
they just bar them from running again next cycle. So they don't
Right.
fire them now. They get to finish out their
Their
election
term.
period because it's not legal to.
And
It
rerun.
says next election
Yeah.
cycle.
They just can't run again. That means they'll finish out their term and then they won't be able to run again. So there'll be three new people up and take their place.
Unbelievable.
And it's my hope that people will
They'll
see
be
what's going
appointed.
on and they'll want to fight for it to take that place.
I hope so.
That's right. And too, we always look at this as conservative versus Democrat. What we gotta stop doing is that.
yeah.
I think we gotta look
absolutely.
at this as a Democrat and a Republican looking at their children, looking at their families, looking at what they're willing to give up.
Right.
Because that's what you're doing.
Well, I
You're
mean,
pretty much saying, I give up.
the problem
Yeah,
is that
absolutely.
you get these Democrats that are so in tune with the wanting to just vote with their party is rather than stopping to say, hey, what is reality? What's really going to affect the kids? And stop caring about their voter base and start caring about what they were actually voting for. But when they ram it through with 100% support, and obviously they don't even really stop to ask the questions or answer the questions, they just push it through. I mean, when I saw
What are they hiding?
when
A
I
lot.
saw the Ways and Means
Look at
Committee,
this hand, but this hand's doing something
Mhm.
else.
yeah. Well, I saw the video of the Ways and Means Committee when that lawyer said a child of any age, half the room of Democrats gasped at that,
Yet they still voted
but
it
yet
through.
they still voted to push it through. That shows it's party connection
Mhm.
and not any sort of actually caring what they're there for.
Well, they were taking polls. I saw Ben Shapiro and that polls on the Democrats versus the Republicans, who in favor, who against. And there are actually 66% of Democrats were saying, hey, wait a minute, this might be too far.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
That
that's
might be.
encouraging to me. But that's encouraging
I know.
because what's that saying is they're starting to listen. They're starting to listen at the undertone. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
about party. It's about the undertone. What is it really saying? What are you willing to give up? And that's exactly what's happening.
Well, yeah, their ultimate
giving 'em
goal
up.
is to keep us fighting with each other instead
Exactly.
of realizing what's going
Instead of
on.
watching the ball, like you said, well, you know,
Yep.
that's it.
It's keeping us distracted, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, we were talking about HB 2002. That was a bad one. But let's talk about the one that's even honestly even worse. It's just as bad, but it has a much different effect, and not just on the changing of genders and removing parents, but this one really just kind of emphasizes that one so much worse. It's Senate Joint Resolution 33. Now this one goes to the people. So if the people are paying attention, they actually have a chance to stop this one.
Gosh, I hope so. But the
So-
Oregon people aren't good at paying attention.
No, they need to
No.
pay attention because this is something they can actually stop.
Yeah.
And what this one does would amend the Constitution to do two things. One is going to remove marriage between a man and a woman out of the Constitution, and the second one is to basically amend the portion of the Constitution where it says you can't make laws that are discriminated against sex. This goes into gender identity. It goes into reproduction choices, pregnancy, and
People pay attention.
there was another one there.
Stop it.
The gender was also another one. But here's the key thing: by putting gender or gender identity in there, if you make a
Buzzword.
if you make a law that says you cannot discriminate, or make a law that it says that one gender can't do another thing and vice versa, right? One of the biggest examples of that would be a bathroom or
Yeah.
a locker room. So that means that you can't make a law that says a man cannot go into a woman's
Female
locker
How
room.
about sports? Sports has been the big thing.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, you
huge.
can't make a
4 or 5
law that
years.
says you can't do X. If there's a law, a rule, or there's
So
ordinance.
stop it, people.
They named it out there, but if you make a ruling on that and it goes into our constitution, that means anything below the constitution, that means whether it's state, county, or city, whether administrative or whether through or like an ordinance or something, it cannot say that one gender cannot do another thing and vice versa, because that's discriminating based upon gender
Unbelievable.
or pregnancy or
They
something.
call that the
Well,
nothing.
isn't it
So any law that says it's illegal to do abortions or abortions at any point,
ADA,
basically
Yeah.
that makes
equal
it,
rights? I mean, that was
it makes it so,
60s.
Yeah.
well, it makes it, because there's also pregnancies in there too. So it means that any laws that would outlaw abortion up to point of
Oh
birth
my
would actually
God.
be
Well,
illegal.
it did just get kicked down to the states, so they're now acting on
Yeah,
it.
that's the one that does it, but it does so much more. So it's really a really bad one.
Really
So
bad.
when if those two both strike, that means a person.
Get the hell out of
Let me give you a
Oregon.
scenario. A man could go into a woman's locker room. He could rape her or whatever else, and they're sexually assault her, get her pregnant, and then you get your daughter pregnant, and then you can't stop that from being aborted.
Oh
So,
my
or
God.
you branch out any scenario you want, but that's a basis of a bad scenario that can happen. So, and if they push this whole pedophile thing, it can get 1,000 times worse because they're trying to lower the age of consent. So you start mixing those things together. I mean, you just see where
As I
this is
said
going.
before, I'd hate to be the one that had to push this,
Yeah.
because if you're the one on the other end of that, I feel for you, because you're not going to get very far.
Someone
I mean,
said,
you should see me when we go to the movies.
yeah,
I'm right there at the door.
That's
Mhm.
right.
yeah,
That's right.
Exactly.
that's how Joel is.
You're trying to get past me, dude. Trying to get past me.
Yeah, we speak
there.
about
I'm going to
military.
jail and you're going to a hospital.
That's right.
Yeah.
We speak about military all the time, Jim here and your night rangers and stuff. That whole thing is about protecting the country. So if you're protecting the country, do you leave that behind? No.
Mhm.
You come home from that war after you protected our country, you protect your kids, you protect your families, right? So
Yeah.
when it comes down to the bottom line, that same person we've raised up from the ground up to protect our country is still protecting it when you come. So remember that, because I would want to have to go against that guy
Well, when the
Yeah.
that's protecting our
when the
country.
wolf was at the door, someone
That's right.
Well,
The enemy's
know-
at the gate.
We
Yeah.
have some comments. John said that those 3 that won't be able to run again, get people to write them in, like on the write-in.
they won't be able to be
They can't run, period,
they-
even on it, right?
right, and they won't be able to be put in there. Yeah,
Man,
So
and
if I-
then
it
Do
Somebody-
we
bars
have
them
to get
from-
another Secretary of State, or we just keep getting new Secretary of States?
right,
Well, they just put that Cheryl Myers, I think, is the new
and then
Secretary of State.
Jay said minorities don't support this crap. People need to pay attention to what and who they vote for. Stop looking at buzzwords, people. Like, stop paying attention to what they're telling you as what the bill is, and actually do your research
Yeah, you
on
can
what
just
the
read
bill
it.
is.
Well, that takes 5 minutes of reading.
Oh God.
Well, like I said a few
God
minutes ago,
forbid.
Joel here reads the whole thing. I read the skim off the top, the cream,
Uh-oh.
and that's why half the time I don't have the whole story.
That's right.
That's why I rely on him reading the whole thing.
The
Like
Cliff
you.
Notes.
Yeah.
With me.
He
Yeah.
gives you the clip
Yeah.
Hey, it has a great summary in the beginning of the bill, though. I will say
Yeah.
that. Hey, well, why don't we just put one more thing on the top of the bill since they've done so much bad things on there. I think I love how the way they kind of put the whipping on top of it.
Or like with the 114. Well, we're gonna name it 114 now, and then a Trump-backed judge is gonna say we're gonna take, the guns away or whatever, and then all the way down in Harney County, and I'm sure half of Oregon had to look up where the hell Harney County is, way down there,
Yeah.
and the judge said no. Second Amendment in Oregon is more. There's more in the Second Amendment in Oregon than the U.S. Constitution Second Amendment.
It's stricter. Exactly.
So it's not a stretch.
Exactly.
So when you try to do something and
Well,
change something, it's
you know
not
how
gonna
they
work
get
out well.
these things through, right? If they can't get it through the normal channels,
Right.
or they can't get through the people, they declare a state of emergency,
Yeah.
and then they ram it through
And then
emergency
they do
order.
Well, you guys just talked
Well,
about
exactly. The
2002.
whipping on the cake is the very last line of 2002 is a declaration of a state of emergency.
Listen to this. Under the measure signed into law by Governor Kate Brown, transgender residents wishing to revise their birth certificates to match their identity presentation will be able to do so by merely filling out a form rather than having to post a public notice and petition for a court order.
Mhm.
So they're just making it easier and easier.
And
Oh, yeah.
last year, something I always did for a living, look at someone's passport. Is that you? Now it's, you just put it down and they scan the chip in there, but you're going to put an X. Now there's male, a female, an X. Well, come on.
I think there's also a
Other.
fourth option of
A
ID,
fourth option?
IDK. I don't know.
Yeah.
It changes every week.
Is that like no middle name in the Army? Like if I had no middle, it would be James NMN Moriarty for the rest of my life? No, I don't think so. No.
Oh, that's
Fill in
another
the
thing.
blank.
We didn't even start talking about the border issues. Boy, God, don't even go
2 weeks
there.
from now.
I
Yeah,
mean,
we'll
they're
be
coming
talking
over
about
in
that
droves.
till
They
next
got,
week.
they got a
But-
tourist season.
But
over
you
there.
have people that want to change, like Brandy said, on a
Yeah.
birth certificate. And what's a passport? It's a
Yeah.
birth document.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your citizenship and nationality.
Well, the thing is, you shouldn't be able to change a birth document
Right.
because that's what you were at
Well,
birth.
You don't
Right.
need one now. You can
You
just
don't
come right
even.
in.
You just come right
Oh yeah.
in. They
Well, yeah.
don't give a shit.
Did you not? I saw an article earlier today that talked about how since the Title 41 expired, I think it was today.
42.
42. I say
Yeah.
41.
That's okay.
Yeah.
42.
42.
Anyways, but it expired, and a bunch of the chief of the border control came down and said, "Let him go." They didn't even get a record date. Just let them all go.
Chief Ortiz.
Yeah, I just said,
That guy's
"Okay,
a-
come on in."
Yep.
Basically,
That
guys,
guy.
Yep.
That
and then
guy.
they didn't write their names down, didn't give them a court date, didn't do anything like that. Just let them go. That's what the article
But
said.
that's being litigated right now, and that's being slapped down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lawsuit, isn't there?
Yes.
Several. of them.
So we are having federal judges saying you can't do that.
Well, they just did it today.
Well,
Again, it's going to be.
Chief Ortiz needs to be brought before
Yeah, he
the
does.
Senate. And,
Well, but
and
he's doing exactly what his
Been
boss
told.
wants.
That's right.
I know, but
That's why our last chief got
Well-
canned.
have you seen
Here's-
how these guys come up and some of our senators that are like, on the conservative side are questioning them and they can't answer the questions? Have you seen that?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
all
it's
throughout that's
constant.
so
Yeah.
bad. It's so bad. Or they just won't. They'll flat out just go around it.
They'll go around it and they'll be like,
So
we're
tell me,
literally asking you a question, and they just go completely around it.
well,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, Sean, tell me, is the sky blue? And be like, well,
It
according
depends on
to the
which
graph,
day,
and,
and is there a cloud?
If I
I
look
don't
past
know.
the trees.
Yeah.
but
I mean,
no, but tell
if
me,
you
do you think the
feel like
sky's
it's
blue?
blue.
Well,
not
according to
sure.
the
That's
birds
kinda
in
like
the air,
triple A's.
and they fly with their wings flap. What it's like they.
But the questions are getting better. Like
Yeah.
Brandy said, they'll say, "Did you prepare for this? Did you know about this?"
Yeah.
Because some of them, they are not there. They just do them on Zoom.
Yep.
So this is a high-ranking cabinet or undersecretary position.
And they happen to not know anything.
No, but they say, "Oh yeah, I prepared."
Yeah.
No,
Sure.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
You're prepared to avoid the questioning is
Absolutely.
what you're
Compared
prepared
to
for.
what the question. Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
You've been taught how to circle yourself around it.
Yeah. Circle the wagons.
Let's see, law school. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's gonna be a couple representatives that can't run again. Make sure you show your support for them. And if there's more that come through on there, because there's still one more reading, so if they don't show up tomorrow, then that
Golly.
still won't pass. So we'll see how many more decide not to show up tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep an eye on it. But that is a bill coming through, so you need to really push against your representatives. Be loud about it, but even more so, show overwhelming support for those that stood up for it.
Yeah.
That way, those who are questioning it, where they stand on things, need to see that hey, there's support behind me if I choose to do my job. So, and then honestly, those who don't, hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Straight up.
agree. It's time for commercial.
Sure. Okay, guys.
Sure,
Well,
he's like, I don't
Sure.
know, maybe.
she wants to go to commercial. 'cause
I
after
really
work,
want to talk
she gets to
about.
talk about her
Oh,
stuff. That's why
yeah.
she wants to go to commercial.
But public notice, okay, when we come back from commercial, do not have kids anywhere near this show. Because what
Not
I'm
rated
talking
G.
about
Yeah,
is
we're
so graphic.
gonna try to be good with our language because we are on Facebook.
Well, we're
and
gonna
other
scare
things.
you.
It's graphic and it's sad and
There's
it's
no images, though.
disturbing. There's no images, but I'm going to have to read some stuff that's really disturbing. So just beware.
All right, so I'm gonna see if the commercials button works.
Okay, guys, are you ready?
Dun dun
Ready.
dun. We have the
I-
sound effects.
I just got told that I have to be careful with my words so we don't get cut off. So if I have to,
So
if
we
I
don't
have
got
to
any sound.
insinuate on stuff, I'm sorry. My first story. So I have 3 stories. The first story, John Nieder, a friend of ours, sent to me the video about it, and then I went in and I found an article which I'm going to read from, and it's just like so horrifying. This happened in a school in Texas. Basically, a 6-year
Just kidding.
there was a 6-year-old girl who was in her first grade class performing oral things on a 6-year-old boy, and it was taped on the school provided iPad. And the teacher is claiming that she didn't see, or she or he, I didn't catch if it was a she or he, didn't see it happening, and that they grabbed her and put her under a desk with this boy. But like, how does a teacher not know that's going on? I mean, it's just really bad. But anyways, when parents found out, there were 200 parents that demonstrated in front of Plainview Independent School. I say good for them. Chanting, be their voice. They bemoaned the school's inadequate response to the attack. According to the Plainview Herald, this happened on April 19th at Plainview South Elementary. Only circulated because a parent posted about it on social media.
Honestly, I think that teacher, all the way up to the principal, and maybe even above that, should be fired. And the reason why is because that teacher felt safe to do something like that.
But you go all the way to the
They
school
were
board.
there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Don't mean to butt in here, Brandy.
Yeah.
But both of my parents were school teachers.
Yeah.
And the worst thing
Mine
that I
too.
ever had my mom and dad say, or my dad, is my left fielder won't be able to come to practice today.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, why not? Well, he got one of the cheerleaders knocked up.
Yeah.
That was devastating to
Yeah.
my parents. And I'm like,
and even
they're
if that,
18.
yeah,
And that was bad.
Yeah.
and even if that had played out, you'd have to ask yourself, how many kids were in that classroom?
Well, and how many kids were witnessing this
Yeah.
and like
Exactly.
they taped it on
Yeah.
an iPad.
Yeah.
To
They
know how to do that.
this
That is literally a crime. Like
Yeah.
that teacher needs to go to jail.
Absolutely.
well,
Flat
think
out.
about this. And when I'm reading this, I'm even more concerned because they say following public uproar, then the district finally confirmed that this incident happened a week later. But they wouldn't even confirm the incident happened until there was a
Like I
public
said.
uproar and they were embarrassed and publicly put out there.
Like I said, fire it from the teacher all the way up to the very top of the school board. The actual superintendent,
Yeah.
everybody fired. That's like completely out of there because, like I said, that teacher felt safe enough to do that in under that principal, this assistant principal, and that principal.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I've got more about this. The 6-year-old's victim's older cousin, I'm not going to give the name. You guys can look it up if you want the name. What was that noise?
I don't know.
Got me on that
Interesting.
one.
Reported observing a change in the child's behavior following this horrific experience. She said she's in distress. She's like, my stomach hurts. I just want to lay down. She further said, you can tell something's wrong with her. So they asked her what's going on, and then the little girl informed her folks that a boy had made out with her in the school lunch queue. She then recalled being forced to perform a you-know-what act on a male classmate a week earlier after being hauled under a desk. On an iPad provided by the school, a different kid captured the incident. The young child is apparently seen trying her hardest to fend off her assailant from behind the desk in the video. Students continued to watch the attack video a day after it happened until the teacher removed the student-locked iPad and had it opened by IT.
I
Like-
have something to add to that. If that woman was 18 years old Are they gonna have a crime technician come in, photograph, have a doctor
Yeah.
examine her, a nurse collect her clothes, take photos of bruises?
Right.
I mean, it's a sexual assault.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Am I wrong?
No,
the other
you're
part,
not.
I mean,
It
it's
does-
on
the
video.
age is
It's
irrelevant.
on
Yeah.
video.
So the
Yeah.
police,
Yeah.
what are you guys doing?
It's a criminal act.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
If it's on video, well,
And
the
they're
kid
protecting
that
this
actually
kid.
filmed it, the
Or was
kid
student
it
that
that did
held
committed
it,
for
it.
7 days? Was it 1 day or 7 days?
What?
One day.
The video.
The
Brandon?
video, the teacher and everyone knew about the video. They break the video the one day.
that's
But then
protecting
they-
child pornography.
The parents weren't informed about it, and the district didn't even confirm that this happened until a week later.
They
So-
shouldn't have gone to bed. Nothing. That
No.
wouldn't have been the priority.
Absolutely.
Everything else
Absolutely.
is out.
Yep.
You
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
do anything else. You don't worry about curriculum.
Nothing.
Nothing else.
Nothing
Detention,
matters.
that's
You
the
shut
only
that
thing.
school down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
if that happened here, I wouldn't stop until everybody from the teacher,
FBI is going to
yeah.
be one of my first.
everybody
calls.
up, anybody involved
Yeah.
in there is
Police
in charge
department's
of the
out.
crime,
Yeah.
and then everybody that wasn't there is held accountable to lose their jobs and never work in education.
Listen
again.
to this. During the second protest conducted in response to the event, people traveled from other villages to march alongside the Plainview community and demanded accountability from the administration. South Elementary Principal Jennifer Huey and Superintendent H.T. Sanchez were both called to be dismissed by protesters. According to the Plainview Herald, the involved teacher, who reportedly did not observe the occurrence from where they were in the classroom, this is what they claim, has been placed on administrative leave. So just the teacher is on administrative leave right now. It's just
Like I said,
like,
everybody from the top to
it's
bottom. That
just-
school board should hold accountability
Yeah.
and get everybody out of that anywhere remotely up the chain.
That's right.
yeah.
Mm.
I mean, and then all those school boards after that should be removed from office on a recall and
Yeah.
put new people on there that'll
That's right.
affect change all the way down where no one feels comfortable doing that ever again.
I mean, 200 parents.
They need to
That's-
clean that area
That's
out.
a
That's
big-
significant.
That's a job for.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, every
Oregon
town
moms.
outside of that.
Yeah,
town
exactly.
knew what was going on.
They need
Yeah,
to go
moms, you
there
need to
and-
go in there and just wipe that
Yeah.
thing clean.
Jim said 200 parents is big. It is. It's
Yeah.
huge.
It
Well,
would depending.
towns on each side, like Colton, Boring, they'd be like, "What's going
Yeah,
on?" What's the
imagine
kid
200 parents in Estacada did that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Yep.
there would be a recall in place to remove the school board if they did,
I'd be standing right with them.
and then everybody there
Absolutely.
would be to push to get everybody out of there, top to bottom.
Yep.
Doesn't
I'm
matter.
looking to see
I
if we
mean,
got
like I said,
any-
either up to the superintendent because that means that superintendent was not holding accountable the people below him. We're not holding accountable people below them, all the way down the chain where anybody would not feel comfortable doing something like that. They should feel like they have to run it by the books.
So
But the
let
fact
me-
is, all the way up the way, they felt there was lackadaisical, and the fact that wasn't taken straight to the parents right away, in the district knew about it. That right there, anybody
Yeah.
knew about it. Should be gone.
well, let me read the comments about this and then we'll move on. I've got 2 other stories that I want to talk about.
That is
I know
pissing
they're
me
going
off.
to equally piss you
I
off.
picture my daughter. You know,
Jay said it's getting really bad for sexual activity in children. It was a teenage pregnancy that was the problem we had to worry about. And now a preteen sexual activity and assault we have to worry about. Insane. And it's the left that support this vile behavior. Sapat said I would rip the teacher out of the classroom and remove the girl out of the classroom and homeschool the little girl. Poor girl is traumatized after that. It's so volatile. Absolutely. I mean, how you couldn't, they're 6 years old.
Mhm.
I just
It's
don't
gonna
even
affect
know
her the
how
rest
to.
of her life.
Well, yeah, of course. It's sickening. So my next story is I was told that I had to look into this before I put the name out there, but Fox News put it out there, so I'm going to put it out there. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation donates millions annually to a non-governmental organization which claims that children are born sexual and should learn about commercial sex work under 10 years of age. And there's like this form.
Anybody who donates to that thing should demand their money back.
It's called IPPF. It's
And
a
they're gonna write that off on
international.
their taxes.
It's the International Planned Parenthood Federation. It wields significant influence on global sex education. The NGO comprises 120 independent organizations in 146 countries and has received, including its European network, over $80 million from the Gates Foundation. Other significant donors included the World Health Organization.
Why am I
course.
not shocked that the Planned
World
Parenthood,
Communist
which by the way makes
Organization
money
is
off of
more like it.
abortions,
Yeah.
why would I not be shocked that they're going to push something that's going to get people pregnant?
Oh yeah, yeah. Surprise.
A toolkit released in 2017 showed an insight into how NGO teaches sex education to children around the globe. This is quotes. Sexual activity may be part of different types of relationships, including dating, marriage, or commercial sex work. IPPF said about children under 10 should be taught, which was first flagged by Nicole Solis of the Independent Women's Forum. But it says children under 10 should also be told as you grow up, you might start to be interested in people with diverse gender identities. They go on to say sexuality is a part of you from the moment you are born. Your sexuality develops and changes throughout your life.
I mean, that is grooming. If nothing else, that is directly a grooming.
Absolutely.
That needs to be shut down. Oh, that needs to be shut
That's
down.
kind of like when you're born, you nurse. Does that
Yeah.
mean we nurse for the rest of our lives?
No.
You know?
No.
I mean, what
insane.
an excuse that is.
I mean, just
Yeah.
because I have the
You're
right
born,
cup size
so you
for it
gotta-
doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
They go on to
Jesus.
say-
Wait. It's birthing people and what was it? Chest feeding people.
Chest
Chest feeding.
feeding.
That was very clear.
Yeah.
We didn't say any bad words, I don't
Oh,
think.
it's
What's
supposed
ridiculous?
to be added to Webster's or Oxford.
Apparently,
They
Webster's dictionary for
They
dumbasses.
go further to say sex positivity acknowledges that human beings, including adolescents and young people, are autonomous sexual beings. Sex educators, according to the NGO, should have an understanding of young people as sexual beings.
So we want to open all our children up to perversion.
Exactly. I
it's-
mean, that's what
it's-
they've been doing. That's the whole point. That's what, and I talk about this all the time because I keep saying a lot of this is going in one direction, and it's going in the direction of pedophilia will no longer be a crime, and kids will be allowed to have sex. Then it's just perversion
Yeah,
all
there'll
over
be
the
street
place.
justice over that one.
That's right.
It's
I
just
hope they don't come to
sickening.
us to get it.
Yeah, I
Right?
mean, honestly,
Jeez.
it may not be a crime on in someone's law somewhere, but they'll guarantee you that there'll be street law and street justice that deals with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my last story. Okay, you guys ready?
Yes.
A trans student exposed girls to male genitalia in the school locker room. So we talk about this all the time with allowing transgender students
That's
in
JR
the locker
33.
rooms. They talk about this exact occurrence happening. And this was an 18-year-old male claiming to be female that was showering in a girls' locker room with freshmen, so 14-year-old girls. These 14-year-old girls saw this person's, like, he just put it all out there. And it seems like they're not offering any, that it wasn't taken care of the right way. I'm trying to find the place where they talk about this, but they didn't, after the student, so they didn't find out from the girls. They found out from one of the friends of the girls because they didn't know how to handle this, because we've been told we have to affirm these people. We have to allow them to just basically sexually assault us. And after the student who was not involved in the incident approached school officials, no proactive action was taken to remedy the situation, such as contacting the Title IX officer to provide an opportunity for the girls to file a sexual harassment complaint, or offering the girls any supportive measures, according to WILL. No one from the district contacted any of the girls' parents at the time, and no one investigated. They just let it be.
Lawsuit, jail,
Yeah.
pension,
6 foot deep hole in the backwoods.
Bigfoot,
Yeah.
in the cage with Bigfoot. I mean, that's, yeah.
Parents began taking the initiative to inquire with the school themselves about its policy regarding transgender students. After a month, EHS's principal got back to one of the parents, but did not identify any applicable policy, the Title IX procedures, or what EHS had done to address the situation. It wasn't until April 10th, over a month since the incidents took place, that anyone from the high school or district identified a policy regarding transgender students' use of female-only facilities. It's unclear where this new guidance about transgenderism in the bathroom and in the locker rooms came from. They have not provided any proof of this, by the way. It's actually backwards. It says that if a girl is upset about what is going on in a bathroom or requires more privacy, it's the girl that needs to get the separate facility and will be provided separate accommodation. It's very focused on the transgender student and the transgender student's rights. There's little to no regard for Title IX, which is a basic federal law that protects girls and women in educational
Less
settings.
than 0.5%. They change everything in the entire country for less than 0.5%.
Yeah. And it's
Not
always
everything. I'm still
I
here.
want equal beard
It's-
rights.
it's always the transgender rights over everybody else's. I mean, we go over this every single time.
I want special accommodations for those who have beards.
And
Yeah.
and when you try to read the other articles,
Yeah.
no will infuriate you. The
Yeah.
Oregonian.
Yeah.
Now they're using that, saying, "Well, you guys are the minority. Why should the minority be allowed to do it?" Meaning, AKA, not this side, or people that sit on the fence for elections, but I'll be righties. Now
Yeah.
they're using it right back in our faces.
Oh, yeah.
Like, seriously?
Absolutely.
You're the super majority for how many years? This is why we're there, right there.
Yep.
That's it. Because you're all taking all of this, and it's happening at the federal level too,
Yeah.
which is sad.
Well,
And again, I bring up the comment just so we know. I drive around a lot. I'm seeing more and more flags going up. I got to tell
People
you,
getting tired
Yeah.
of it.
people are getting tired. And if you want to push that button just a little further, we're going to be facing something I don't think anybody wants to see.
They
Yep.
got red, white, and blue ones. If
That's
people's interested.
That's right.
that's right. It's
Ugh.
it's just scary. Well, and a lot of the problem is too, people on the conservative side are known for being quiet and sitting back and observing, and they need to not be that way right now.
Get loud,
it's do or
get
die
proud for your
time.
country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before you know it's gonna be gone, and then they'll be upset that it's gone, and
Yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
their fault
Right.
for not doing anything about
Where
it.
was that at? You said EHS?
Let me see.
Just
It's not
curious.
EHS.
Wisconsin no, that's no. A Wisconsin school district. EHS is Sun Prairie East High School.
Jeez.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right, it was EHS of a different state.
yeah. Oh, I knew it was a different state because we talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
The thing is, this can happen at
Right.
any state at any point, and the thing is, even more so when Senate Joint Resolution 33, if that passes, that is going to happen here, and it's going to be
Always.
1,000 times worse because you're going to have sex deviants that'll be legally allowed to go into any bathroom, any locker room, anything like that. There will be no more. The only thing that will be available will be a separate locked individual rooms.
Yeah.
Call the cops.
But
on
most
me,
places
It's
don't
not
have
gonna
the money
happen.
to remodel their entire
Facility.
facility to do that.
Yeah.
Well, you might lose another conservative because if it comes here, I'm not backing it,
No freaking
Yep.
way.
Exactly.
state or not. So
It-
just so you know.
And Terry and I were out of the country recently, and up north is very welcoming to that.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it. I forgot to take my phone out. I take pictures of everything,
Yeah.
and I didn't take a picture of that. So it was gender affirming, like whatever you want. Here's the door, and I
Yeah.
was just standing there like, what? Here too?
Well, I saw
Wow.
that in a hospital recently where it said on the bathroom door, this bathroom is for women and anybody who identifies as a woman.
Right. It's literally what
And
it said.
yeah, I'm like, okay, it's already here. It's already happening.
Did you guys see the article about there is a man who is a coach of a female powerlifting or bodybuilding team, and to make a point, he went and he competed in a woman's powerlifting thing, and he broke the record by like over 100 pounds, but he did it because there was a transgender contestant that had joined and had beat all the ladies. So
Yeah.
he went and beat that person crushed him. Because that guy can't compete against in real men's sport. He has to go beat women because he has, he has-
Right.
200
You can't-
plays to first place.
Yeah,
Like that
exactly.
swimmer.
And he got
Yep.
yeah. So what's happening is there's starting a new movement where all these guys are going competing in these sports to crush these records so bad, where they're going to get to the point where like, what's the point? And they're going to have to basically wipe out all of the records
Yep.
of these transgender and everything else and give it back to women's. So they're going to go and they're going to basically, all these men are starting to join into these sports and they're just going to crush all these records so bad that it's ridiculous and it's pointless.
We got
And
some
they're going to have no
comments.
points but to kind of reset them back to reality.
We got some comments.
Yeah, go for
Someone said, or John said, "Wake up, people! This is coming to a school near you. It's time to put public schools out of business." I agree with that, but let's not forget the story I told last show, where we're talking about a Christian private school that told the little girl she couldn't say what the Bible said about homosexuality,
Mhm.
and that was in London. So it's like, yeah, let's put these public schools out of business, but at the same time, a lot of the private schools are doing the
It's
same thing.
not just putting them out of business. The big thing is holding them accountable.
Yeah.
Right.
And if they don't be held accountable, get them out of there and put somebody there who will do the right thing in there and
Yeah.
do it quickly and don't drag it out.
Yeah. Well, and not everyone can afford to homeschool or go to private school or any
Well,
of that.
Arkansas is one of the first states out there that actually is starting to do, where they use either funds follow you, and you can choose what school you want to
School
go
choice. I
to. Yeah,
like
school
that.
vouchers.
School
They've actually signed the
That's
bill
cool.
into law now. They have school vouchers in the state of Arkansas.
There are lots of like moms unions out there fighting for school choice. And I think that's the way to go in the country is school choice, where your tax dollars follow you to where you want to go.
Yeah,
you
if
don't have
wanna
to do public school.
home
You
or
can
Christian
do,
school or
yeah.
private school or whatever you want to do.
and then the parents aren't having to pay for it. So that's
And if you
Yeah.
don't have
Well,
that
most-
option and you can't move or you can't leave, which, I know there's a lot of people out there that wish they could go.
yeah.
But if you are one of those parents to stay here and you have to protect your children, just remember that. Protect your children.
Yeah.
Always.
At
Them
all
first,
costs.
No
Definitely.
matter what happens.
Yeah.
And the biggest part is being involved.
Yep.
Yeah.
involved heavily.
Absolutely.
Don't check out. Don't be into your own thing. You have to be heavily involved in your child's
We're
life.
well known in our child's
And you
school.
have to be very heavily involved in your child's school. Be there. Ask a question. Make them uncomfortable.
Yep.
Demand that they are accountable and they are present and that they are giving you the information you want. And if something's out of place, you go there and you ask them and you require them to be accountable to that on the spot.
Countless times we've been at our daughter's school,
Mhm.
and they always have a look when we come in.
Yeah, because
Like,
we demand
The
accountability.
social worker's always like, "Okay, what's wrong? What happened? What's going on?"
Yeah,
know.
I gotta have
That's
another.
good, though.
Well, we gotta
Yeah.
have
That's
another.
what
We
it
gotta
should
have
be.
another conversation with them.
Oh yeah.
Recently, we when we first went in, we told them at the beginning of the school year, you are not to talk about our daughter, with our daughter, any sort of either sexual or
Sex
private,
ed or any of
anything
that.
like that. That is not okay. We've sent them letters. We've had the same thing every year. They know
Opt
better.
out. They know that about our
But
family.
they put her through the puberty class recently.
Yep, last week.
Never
Really?
notified
Without
us or anything. So yeah,
consent.
that principal is gonna have a very serious talk with mom and dad soon.
Uh-huh.
We just haven't had a chance to get in there yet.
Yeah, because they're on break
Soon
this week.
as soon as they come back around next week. I
Surprise.
tried to go there last week, but they were gone before I got there.
Right.
Yep.
I missed them by like maybe 30
Joel's
minutes.
coming. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Monday
Yeah, that's right.
Monday morning, we're gonna be in there and we're gonna be demanding accountability. We
Yeah.
told
As
you
you
no to
should.
this and you did this.
Well, 'cause
Now
it's an
someone needs to be held
opt-out.
accountable to it.
Estacada and Oregon are opt out, not opt in.
Yeah, I
So
know.
a lot of parents don't know that, but we luckily knew that, and we've been opting out of sex ed
Yep.
since she was in kindergarten.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they know that about us. It's not a secret. And every year at the beginning of the year, we remind them we're opting out. We don't want her to be involved in.
Yeah.
I mean, from what Riley told us, it wasn't anything very crazy, but it's still,
Not their
we
right.
don't think it's their place to teach that. It's
Exactly.
our place.
Sorry.
And yeah, I'm sure there's families out there that don't do a good job of that, but it's not the government's place to change that or push that.
Exactly.
What happened to
Always
back
saying
in the day?
that's why you have a dinner table.
That's right.
Yep.
You know, if your kids are having problems, talk to them.
Yep.
Just talk to them. And if it's bad enough and they need you, you step up.
That's right.
And I'll be the first one to march with you down to any school
Yeah,
or anywhere where they're taking your children before you.
that's right.
Exactly. It's about the kids.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's what it is. That's
Yeah.
it's our job as parents
Yeah.
to protect our kids. It's the jobs as grandparents to protect the grandkids.
That's right.
Because hopefully you don't have to protect your kids anymore.
That's right.
But kind of.
Jay, I
Right, yeah.
see that you said you guys need a flag. We'll find a way to get you one.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So-
You can get a hold of me, Jay, or we're having the Memorial Day breakfast
Yeah,
soon.
Yep.
So I can have one
that'll
there
be
for 'em.
cool.
That's the
And
pancake
Oddfellows.
sausage, the
Yeah.
whole 9 yards,
Hold
right?
on, yours.
I
have it
love
for
their
a
You
breakfast.
should get a bunch of flags full of like footballs and people during
There's
during
a
the
flag, and there's a
4th of July
flag.
parade.
Into the Cub Scouts. they
That's
can run
right.
around.
Tell people.
I love
Anyways.
their breakfast, so go out and support that. It's always good.
It's always good.
Excellent. So, you got anything else there
Those,
for campfire discussion?
well, I think those 3 stories were big enough.
They were very big.
I'm just shocked.
Well,
myself.
we're good with campfire discussions. Let's go over to Jim for Ranger games. Dun dun dun.
Hey, you're
Lots
up.
of
Shit.
You're up, man.
Dun, 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 dun,
I've been
dun,
reading,
dun, dun.
The old man's got his glasses on.
Yeah,
Watch
I
out.
have to switch
We need
gears
sound
from
effects.
reading about guerrilla submarines.
Oh
on
my
a
gosh.
vacation.
That's so
In
right on a
Vietnam,
guerrilla
World War
submarine.
Ah,
And we'll move on to posts, U.S. Army posts.
yeah, they've changed.
They're halfway through the base name changes. Business as usual
Unbelievable.
across the Army.
Unbelievable.
So, I mean, everyone should know by now. I'm a Northerner.
Yeah.
Son of a U.S. history teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just kind of, reading this.
What are they changing them to? Rainbows and unicorns?
No, they're changing from
Fort Rainbow?
Southern generals, Southern leaders.
Yeah.
You
Fort
can't
Hood,
hide
Fort Lee.
history. You can't hide
Well, The
history.
posts are named for inspirational leaders who reflect the values of the U.S. Army in America. No longer do we honor traitors for slavery who killed U.S. Army soldiers.
Oh, they're
just
traitors
now,
for slavery
What
now?
do they name these after? That's the key. here.
Well, I mean,
people of color.
were they
right?
Some
US
of 'em
soldiers
women.
in the
Indigenous
North?
people.
Were they U.S. soldiers in the South?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
They didn't even
Yeah,
exist. at
they-
that time.
Right?
Exactly.
Different uniforms,
Yep.
Yeah.
same country.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had discussion earlier.
Yep.
Robert E. Lee,
Yep.
Ulysses S. Grant.
Yep.
One became president. The other one went to West Point, which is serve your country.
Yep.
I love America, but he chose Virginia
Right.
Yeah.
over the U.S.,
Well,
which
it's like
is not.
they were in a civil war. They fought for what they were believing at the time. And by the way, it wasn't. Everybody thinks that the Civil War was fought for slavery.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. It was fought over technically money and trade,
Mhm.
and it was not about slavery. It was actually about cotton.
Yep. It's
Which my dad could
unbelievable how
call in, he'd
twisted.
Give you about 10 different reasons why the Civil War was.
Yeah,
Oh,
there was a bunch of, but it had to do with trade of cotton and the railroads. That
Yeah,
was
they've
the key
twisted it
thing.
a lot in the as time has gone on, they've twisted it a lot. But I mean, that's a lot of things. And if you stop teaching history, that's what happens.
Exactly.
We're trying to change
You
it.
get- yeah.
That's what
So-
they're trying to change history.
Well, it's
For-
always been about race, and it's really not race. I've heard it
No.
numerous times. Sean, you don't understand. Sean, you don't understand. I think I got a pretty good idea.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
learned history in school.
And it is not about race.
No.
It's about people. We're all people. You keep bringing the race into it so you can divide and conquer.
Yep.
Great. But that doesn't work for everybody. Anybody who knows their history knows that we've been through a lot. And if we took all that and dumped it into race, yeah, that's what it would be. But it's not.
Well, and they keep saying that America has this terrible history, but if you look at it, we were the first to do away with slavery. We were the first. We weren't the
It
first
still
ones
exists
to.
to this day
Yes.
in the world.
Yeah.
Period.
And we weren't the first ones to involve ourselves in slavery, but we were the first to do away with it. That should be celebrated.
I mean, there's slavery every Super Bowl.
Well,
Yeah.
If you read the articles about the sex trade,
Yep.
when we're going to talk about that, every February, I cringe when there's a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Because I think of what I did for a living, all those kids that are getting trafficked all over the United States for one
Absolutely.
purpose, for
Yep.
rich people.
Oh yeah,
And
exactly.
Super
it's
Bowl.
sickening what's going on in that, and I'll be delving into that a little bit over the next couple months, but it's really sickening how long it's been going on and how much power that group has. That, I mean, watch Taken, that's really happening. That
Mhm.
movie is reality, you guys. It's not just a movie,
Well,
but it's happening with kids.
Portland is one of the highest places for sex trafficking in the country.
Yeah.
It has the highest.
Yeah.
It's I know it may be even lower a little bit, but it's top 10, and it has been for years.
Which by population wouldn't be, you wouldn't think.
Yeah.
But it's a straight shot from the border.
Mhm.
on the 5,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We
It's just drop either. Yeah, and it's like once someone's taken, it's almost impossible to get it back. I mean, I was reading a story the other day about a father who's killed a boyfriend because the boyfriend what he did is he took his daughter and sold her into sex slavery, and the father was able to go rescue her somehow. Like it's actually a real Taken,
Sounds like a movie.
like
Yeah.
a real Taken movie, but it
Yeah.
actually
Big
happened.
Irish
Liam
actor.
Neeson.
Yeah, and then he found the boyfriend and killed him and hid him in a car in the middle of nowhere somewhere, and somehow the car got found.
Good job,
and
Dad.
they
Way
they're
to
now
go.
charging him with it because they were able to connect two and
Because you
two.
have to convince 12 people
Yeah,
Right.
to do that.
but yet the thing is, there's actually been cases where the fathers have gotten off from killing the assailants because they're out of their mental capacity at the time.
So
Because
I have to correct myself. John Nieder said the UK did away with slavery in the 1830s. So we weren't technically the first, but we were
We're
one of the
close to
first.
the top.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, anybody who makes someone wear powdered wigs is still in the slavery trade. That's just abusive. Anyways, so yeah, well, do you actually want to go all the way back to the origin of slavery? That was actually in the African people and the African kings. They would round up their people, and they would sell them to traders. They would basically take them, put them in cages on the shore. So all the people that do is come up and get them.
Well,
And
let's
transport
not
them.
forget
So you-
Irish slaves, Scottish slaves.
Well, heck, let's just
Yeah.
go back to the beginning
Oh,
of the
here.
Bible.
Yep.
Egyptians and Hebrews.
Yep.
Let's go into slavery. You want
Yeah.
slavery? Let's look at slavery in a real sense here. I
Technically.
know for those who are Christians,
Yeah.
of Christian descent, you understand
Mhm.
that this dates back and has nothing to do with race.
No.
Nothing at
Because
all.
all of us come from some form of slavery. All of us do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And all of our ancestors have. So you want to talk about reparations? I mean, did you guys see that story? I'm sorry to change the subject, but I have to tell you this story. This lady goes into a Target, right? And she gets up to the register and she has like $1,000 worth of stuff. And she doesn't have the money. And she tells him, well, you need to just give it to me for reparations. It's mine. I deserve it for reparations. And she literally like goes after the like manager guy. He ends up punching her in the face
Yeah.
because she's in his face. She's in his, and they're like, we can't just give you $1,000 worth of product. Anyways, the police come and they did the right thing. They actually arrested her, and the whole way she's like, why are you arresting me? I deserve reparations. That's what this is. And they go, that doesn't work
Get
that
in the
way.
back of the car.
What the heck,
Yeah.
dude? Like,
Well, your reparations are right this way. Just go ahead and wear these nice shiny bracelets and sit in the back of this car. We'll take you right to it.
yeah,
right.
I mean, come on. People are
Exactly
going
what you
nuts.
deserve. We'll take you right there.
They're
right.
believing all this crap that they're being fed, is what it is.
It's disgusting. So, anyways, rolling right
Alright.
back over to
Yeah, let me just
Sorry. to
breeze
change that.
over the Army's 9 bases named for men who fought against its own soldiers during the Civil War. 5 now sport new names. 4 more await their ceremonies. Fort Barfoot, Virginia, once Fort Pickett,
Ugh.
kind of important.
did
Yeah.
you say Fort Barfoot?
Barfoot.
Barfoot
It's my
instead of Pickett.
accent.
I'm gonna go with
So
Barfoot.
it used to be Pickett, which is a big one,
Mhm.
and now it's Barfoot.
For
No, it's
Colonel
Barfoot.
Barfoot, who received the Medal of Honor as
Ugh.
a tech sergeant in World War II.
Whatever.
Oh.
Probably from New England.
I'm sorry,
Medal
but
of, Medal of
you're
Honor
taking-
winner.
I know.
I can't argue that.
I
one,
get
I'm sorry.
no. There's no reason to change them.
Yeah, I get that, but at least they selected a Medal of Honor.
But, you
winner.
know, Joel and I have had this conversation. My dad went to Fort Knox. I
yeah,
was at Fort Knox.
yeah.
Now they're teaching armor training at Fort Benning. Now
Wait.
Fort Benning's changing its name.
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
So
Hood
Fort
too.
Benning?
Yes.
Fort
Well,
Hood,
I'm
too.
coming to it. Hold on.
Oh, good gosh.
So at Fort Novosel, Alabama, once Fort Rucker Aviation. Send
Yeah.
everybody there.
Another
52
big one,
weeks.
people.
Big one. Medal of Honor for work on his flight and medical evacuation mission in 1969. Fort Greg Adams, Virginia, once Fort Lee,
Mm,
Fort Lee?
yeah.
named
my
after
ancestor.
the Army's first black 3-star general and Lieutenant Colonel Charity Adams, black woman who commanded a postal battalion during World War II. Fort Cavazos, Texas, once Fort Hood. Right now, I was talking about this earlier. Named after the service's first Latino 4-star general. 2 Distinguished Service Crosses for his leadership. 1 in Korea, 1 in Vietnam.
Fort Hood's on now. Fort Hood.
Louder? Okay. Fort Bragg, North Carolina, will become Fort Liberty on June 2nd.
Jeez.
Are we
Oh,
naming battleships here pretty quick?
Right?
Home of President Kennedy's
Yeah.
U.S. Army Special Forces Command. I mean,
I mean,
Hello.
Jeez.
it makes me sick, honestly. I mean, when they do these, they disregard everything good. For the one little bad thing, they disregard everything good they did.
I'm not done yet.
Oh
I
my
get that. But I'm
God.
saying they disregard everything good that they did to get those
Yep.
bases named after them.
That's right.
Because every one of those generals, they may have something bad they did, but every general has something. I bet you if you look into those guys,
They
They
did
probably have
something
something bad
nasty
too.
too.
I mean, it's just
Everybody does. It's humanity.
Oh, yeah. I wanted
Yeah.
to go back because I brought that up, Joel. Fort Benning will be now rechristened Fort Moore after Hal Moore. We were soldiers, Mel Gibson.
Oh yeah.
I like that guy.
I know.
But changing
I
Benning-
don't
He was a
change the
lieutenant
name, yes,
colonel
but he
during the
needs
movie,
something named
but
after
he
him.
went all the way up.
Yeah.
Lieutenant General. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he needs something named after him. I wish it wasn't.
Yeah, but I
Benning,
wish
but
it wasn't Benning.
Yeah.
Like take something else. Fort Benning, Fort Hood,
Yep.
Fort Lee. That's my
Fort Polk,
ancestor.
Louisiana will become Fort Johnson, named after Sergeant William Henry Johnson in World War I, Harlem Hellfighters, Northerners.
Jeez.
Medal of Honor in 2015. Fort Gordon, Georgia. What do they do at Fort Gordon?
Psychops.
Fort Eisenhower, named after World War II general, 5-star U.S. president.
Someone asked,
So
"Are
what-
they going to rename Fort Sill?" That's one of the forts my
Yeah,
ancestors were held.
they're going to rename it to Fort Litkey.
Fort
Fort
Sill.
Lee.
No,
Mm.
Fort Sill's not on the list right now. But
Fort A.P. Hill, Virginia, does not yet have a set date for its transition to Fort Walker, named for a Civil War surgeon and Medal of Honor recipient Mary Edwards Walker. So,
jeez.
wow.
Again, I go back to the war and fighting for our country. Where do we draw the line? We're willing to change the name of the
Yes.
very people who made this country.
Right.
The line's
You know,
subjective, man. It's whoever's in power wants to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, Jim, from John.
Yes.
He says, "What about New York City kicking homeless vets out of shelters to make room for illegals?"
Ooh, bad choice.
I haven't heard about that.
Yeah.
Now
Terrible.
you're choosing over Americans that serve their country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a
they
no-brainer.
don't get that. This country would not be here. They would not not only be here, but they would not have the freedoms that they have today if those people haven't served and to continue to serve.
Or it's even enforcing the laws, federal laws in the state of New York,
Mhm.
which means deportation, removal,
Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
whatever you want to call it. See you later.
that's the thing is, I saw something
Bye.
on a concert the other day where they had law enforcement, firefighters, and military all raise their hands, and it said, "Okay, everybody who doesn't have their hand raised, stop and look around. You're here only because what they and people before them have done. Law enforcement, firefighters, and military.
Yep.
Those are the people that have built this country and kept it to the ability to be there."
Again,
Yeah.
the flag's going up.
Yep. Let's do it, guys. Let's fight back.
All right. In my last article before we wrap up, this is shout out to the U.S. Coast Guard ship.
Oh yeah.
Seized $110 million in drugs in 3
Ooh.
days,
There
Yeah.
you go.
and
That's awesome.
I can't.
You
You can't quite see
It's
it.
the deck of the ship, but it's about 10 feet tall, worth of narcotics.
Ugh.
Jeez.
The first one was May 10th, small fishing vessel from the port of
China.
Chabahar in Iran.
Right.
The boarding party discovered 1,964 kilos of heroin, worth about 80 million. 2 days earlier, our ship, the Glen Harris, stopped another small fishing vessel, 580 kilograms of meth,
Oh my gosh.
and another 35 of heroin. That was valued at 30
Haven't they
million.
heard? Just put it through Mexico. They'll let you right in.
Yeah.
Right? They'll
They
let
save a
you
lot of
right over
time.
that border.
So last month, the Navy and the Coast Guard from the guided missile destroyer USS Paul Hamilton found 802 kilos of meth and 1,000 of hashish.
Why didn't they just sink the boat?
Well, because we're, trying to make a little money off of it.
Yeah,
Right?
DEA makes a little money, right?
that's right.
So just another small fishing vessel. Well, I've seen personally in my career people hollowing out surfboards and putting kilos of marijuana in a surfboard
Oh my god.
and then paddling north.
Oh my
Absolutely.
god.
So
didn't
I
we
don't
see
know what a
something-
small fishing vessel is.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Is
there
it like a
something?
10-ton or a 1-ton?
Right.
Or a guy going, ee.
Well, wasn't there something a while back where down on the like Tijuana border where the fence goes out into the ocean and stuff? Weren't they like trying to swim around it?
That's
and
what
stuff?
I'm talking
And there was a
about.
bunch of sharks or something out there. They're getting eaten by sharks. Wasn't there like a big article about that a while back?
Probably.
That'd be scary.
Yeah. And they, because they're trying to get a little smarter, so they go out further out, a mile, 2 miles out. Well, now we have our patrol units,
Mhm.
and then you have the Coast Guard, and
Yep.
then you got SEAL Team 3, which is in Coronado. So you're eventually going to run into someone,
Mhm.
but they are pretty well coordinated.
Yeah, and we got radar.
But I mean, they
Yeah.
go around, they go out about 6-8 miles, and they come all the way up by Los Angeles.
No, but we also have surface radar that goes out that far, don't we?
Yeah.
Don't we have like 50-mile radar or something like that? Now, granted, a small vessel may not show up as easy
Right.
as like something like a fishing boat. So
And now drones, so drones have started to become popular.
yeah,
Drones are good.
just drop,
Yeah.
just drop.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Amazon.
What?
I'd like to get 5 kilos from China.
the Amazon drug dealer.
That's right. That's what's coming next.
Well, if they decriminalize it all over like they have here,
Yeah.
what's to stop them from just doing it? I mean,
Can you imagine your Christmas? Here comes your magazine. Heroin's going for $10 a kilo.
yeah,
Or you can have meth for Christmas Eve.
yeah, like advertising it.
And let's go talk to our transgender children and see what they'd like.
Well, I read an article a while back that they
Castrate.
actually when Uber was first starting, Uber and Uber Eats and all things were starting to come up, they actually had something along the lines where they had an app you could technically get, and it'd be like, I think it was like some sort of food or something on there. You go to order it, and it was actually code for like different drugs, and you'd have it delivered to you. Drugs
Oh my
delivered to you.
god.
Yeah.
They'll bring
Well,
your
like,
drugs to you.
He said
Green
the
gummies.
transgender you can do castrate 2 for 1 or something. Castrate 2 for 1.
And it'll be at home gender change.
So horrible.
So
You know what they'll
messed
do is they'll have a little drone robot show up, and the surgeon will be sitting back with them.
Oh, yeah. It's so.
The Wi-Fi
disgusting.
went out.
up. Eh, my
Actually, we
God.
talked
Kids
about
are
this.
sick.
That's what they want, right?
Yeah. It's gross, man. It's insane.
Hey, come get in the back of this van.
If
We'll
we
take
have
care
to
of you.
laugh because it's so horrendous.
I
For
know.
Christmas, your kids will be able to home drug kits where you
Yeah.
can make your own.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Try it now. You can make your own.
Betty
Lickety
Crocker.
split, Betty Crocker.
Yeah.
meth
Yeah,
lab.
your
Roll
little
it up.
easy bake
The drug
oven.
maker's cookbook.
Roll it.
Yeah. Hot brownies.
I mean,
have you been looking forward to
You
it?
know, you actually can get stuff for how to make pot brownies. That's
Well,
actually
there you go.
online.
But now they'll have a ready bake oven for
Are
your
they
child.
keto pot brownies or?
Someone, Jay said, makes me miss the good old days when the big issue was smoking entirely too much weed,
Yeah.
and that was the big issue.
Yeah.
Sad.
It's definitely become a very sad day that we're dealing with.
Yeah, it is.
So like I said in the very beginning, lock up your kids, lock up your lock
Hide
up
your kids,
dogs,
hide your wives. How's it go?
hide
They're killing everybody up in here. You've seen that video, right?
That's
Hide your kids, hide your wife. They're killing everybody
Up here.
up in here. Something like that.
That's about it.
He got that guy got famous because of that. I can't remember. Anybody know?
I think I can picture the video, but
Anybody know what his name was? Let me know because I can't remember his name. And then there was a girl that also was like, everything was on fire. Ain't got no time for that or something like that. And she kept saying, ain't got no time for that. It was the same kind of idea. But the guy got super famous for saying, hide your kids, hide your wives.
yeah, I mean it's crazy. Was it killing or there something else?
I don't know.
Anyways, hey, you guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I think we had a great show. We talked about HB 2002 and SJR 33 about the Republican walkout and to go and support those who have already now lost the ability to run next election and I'm sure more will probably end up joining them. We
Yeah.
talked about for Brandy's, we did a few articles there. Talk about basically teachers not being held accountable.
Sexualization of our kids.
Yep, that's a short story of it all. And then we talked about the current administration making stupid choices to change base names because they can't handle the truth.
Yep.
Chief of staff,
So,
what is
yeah.
going on?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will be back in 2 weeks. That is the third.
Third.
You
Wait.
got
No,
a couple hands there. You
Memorial
can
Day.
count it.
Third. It's first and third or whatever. So
Wait, is today today's the third Monday.
is it third Monday?
So technically, we could be back in 2
Well,
weeks, but it'll be the
back
first.
It'll be the first.
It'll
It'll
be
be the
the
first
29th.
next month.
Monday of
We only
June.
do 2 a month.
Oh, the 5th?
Well, yeah, whatever the first Monday of the month is.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Antoine Dotson is the guy that said that.
Watson.
So look him up.
Antoine Dotson.
Antoine Antoine Dotson or
Got it.
Antione Dotson. I don't know how to
Okay,
pronounce
guys.
it. Sorry.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time, and at 7 o'clock right here, and hopefully we'll actually have things working on time. Have a good night.
All right.